Hi and welcome to this PowerShell tutorial video. In this video, we're going to go ahead and look at how we can create randomized passwords. Now, this could be especially useful if at your company you're in charge of creating accounts, or even if you are just kind of learning PowerShell, how to create your own random passwords instead of using a random password generator online, or one of the password generators that are included in your password vault or your password manager. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at a few things that we're just going to need to know the basics of before we actually create our random password. And then we're going to go ahead and we are actually going to create a function that will help us create our random passwords here. So the first thing that we need to know is actually how to create the byte value and how to get the byte value for different characters. So in PowerShell, we can do a square bracket byte and then a square bracket char or car for character, and then go ahead put the single quote and then the letter A, and this will give us the byte value for A or the ASCII value for A. Now you can also find these online very easily. But you can also work backwards in PowerShell as well, which is what we're going to really be using in our code here, which is going to be just square bracket car and then the value of 97. And you're going to see we get back the lowercase a, which is exactly what we're expecting. This is what we're going to really be using to generate our random passwords. The other thing that we're really going to be using is the get random commandlet. Now, I don't actually have a video on get random. We've used it in a few videos before. If you guys want to see a deep dive on the get random commandlet, please let me know below in the comments and I can definitely get that for us. So the first thing with the get random commandlet, we can actually set a minimum and a maximum number. So if we wanted to get a random number of 1 through 10, we can do a minimum of 1, maximum of 10, and we can get that. Now, if we wanted to get, let's say, 4 numbers between 1 and 10, we can actually get a count parameter, and that will give us 4 numbers. The other thing that we can actually do as well, instead of specifying a minimum and maximum, we can actually specify a input object, and we can specify an array in here of 1 through 10. So if we actually do that, we will still get our 4 numbers between 1 and 10. So this will be very important to know. This is what we're going to really be using in our random password generator. So the first thing that we want to do when we generate our random password here is generate our character set. Now, what I like to do is actually separate this into 4 different character sets. This way it just gives us a little bit more flexibility. Maybe you don't want to use all 4 for some passwords. Maybe you do want to use all 4 for some. So you can actually go ahead and put that as parameters, and it just becomes a little bit nicer to use. So what we're going to first do is just create all of our sets here. So let's create one called uppercase set. And we're going to set this to an array between 65 and 90. And then we're going to actually pipe that to a for each open and closing curly bracket, and then open and closing square bracket with car inside, and then a $_ and that will convert all of our numbers 65 through 90 to the character and put that in an array here. So if we actually go ahead and run this and we look at our uppercase set, we will see that we have an array of all the uppercase characters. Now, all we're going to want to do is actually go ahead and paste this 4 times and change this to lowercase set, numeric set, and then special set. And then our lowercase set is going to be 97 through 122. Our numeric set is going to be 48 through 57. And then our special set, I like to curate my own special set. So it's actually 33, 35, 36, 37, 38, 42, and 63. And if we actually look at that here, we will actually see that it is the more commonly used special characters. Now you can do the whole set of special characters. My experience is Some people don't know how to do all the different symbols. So if you start including square bracket, curly bracket, greater than, lesser than, apostrophes, and a bunch of different ones. People just don't really know how to put them in passwords. They might get a little confused, which will generate tickets. The other thing is that I've also noticed is some softwares don't accept certain special characters, so I try to keep it to the very common special characters. And the only other thing that we want to do is create a big character set that will have all of them here. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a car set, and we are going to make that equal to our uppercase set, lowercase set, numeric set, and our special set here. And then all we want to do is go ahead and try to create our random password. So if we do a get random, and we're going to do a count of 10, and then our input object, instead of being an array of numbers, now it's going to be our character set. So this will actually go ahead and generate us an array of random characters. Now, what we can actually do to make that more into a password is add the dash join and then a parentheses and have that get random in the parentheses here. And that will actually join all the elements of the array into one single string. And there we have our random password. Now, this is really nice if we only want to create one password, but let's say you want to use this in your scripts. This isn't super useful. It might be, but what's actually even more useful is if we convert this into a function and you can actually use this in your scripts. So let's go ahead and let's add the function keyword at the top, get random password, open and closing curly bracket. We're going to have our commandlet binding at the top here. And we're going to have our param with open and closing parentheses. And this is kind of what I was hinting towards at the beginning is I like to give a lot of options. So we're going to have password length, and we're going to have all the 4 different character sets to give the ability to the user to say, I want to use this or I don't want to use this. So let's go ahead. Let's put in our first parameter here. And our first parameter is going to be an integer, and it's going to be password length. Now, I don't like to make any of these mandatory parameters. I like to keep these all optional, but with a default value. So we're going to have another parameter here. We're going to have a bool, and we're just going to call it uppercase. And we're going to make this equal to true. And we are just going to copy paste this parameter here because we're going to have a bunch of Boolean ones. And now we're going to make a lowercase, numeric, and special. Now for this example, I actually want to set the numeric and the special to false here. And then all we need to do is actually take away this comma. Now, if we just copy pasted this entire code in here, cut and then paste it, now this would mean that the parameters actually do nothing. So what we actually need to do here is add some if statements. So if the uppercase flag is true, then we will do this. And then we just need 4 more for all the other sets here. So if lowercase, if numeric, and if special, then we're going to generate the set. Now, there's actually one other thing that we actually need to do here, or else sometimes I've noticed that this in theory you would think would actually work, but it actually gives me some issues at the odd times. So what I like to do is just make sure that it is properly set here. So once we actually have our car set, everything is in here. What I like to do at the beginning here is actually just make sure that we nullify all the sets here. So the uppercase set is null, lowercase set is equal to null, the numeric set is equal to null, and then the special set is equal to null. We can actually remove this later and I can show you guys what the output would be without that here. And let's add the return here. And then for this number, we're just going to change this to password length. So it actually lets us pick the password length. So once we actually have that coded in, we can actually get the get random password. And I seem to have made a typo here. I did. So let's just put parameter properly spelled out here. Run that again. So there is our first random password. As you can see, we did not get any numbers or symbols. But if we go ahead and let's just remove these nulls here, as you can see, we already get a number in the first one that we run. And if we run it again, we actually get a symbol and a number. So what I like to do is I like to make sure that just all of our sets are fully nullified before we do anything. And this way that will just guarantee it working 100% of the time here, because sometimes some weird things happen. If you guys know what happens there, please let me know. I would like to know without just having to put these null values here. But once we actually have that all here, what we can actually do is if we get another password, now as you can see, we can actually generate this a bunch of different times. We will not get numbers, and we can actually change the password length. Let's change that to 20 here. And we will see that we still only get uppercase and lowercase. Now, if we added numeric here, let's go ahead and let's change that to true. And let's put that special to true here. And there is our password with numbers and symbols with 20 characters. Let's put that back. Let's just put it to 12 here. It's a little bit more of a normal length. So we have our special characters and our numbers. Now, this does not mean that there will be 100% certainty that there will be a special and 100% certainty that there will be numeric. But it is just set to include them in the set of characters that it is allowed to pick from. If we don't want specials, we only want numerics, we can just remove that last parameter. There it is. We have our 6, but we don't have any symbols here. And then same thing, if we only wanted special characters and not numbers, we can change that to special and run that here. And as you can see, we actually didn't get any symbols in this one. If we run it again, we did get some symbols. So if you do put this parameter, it is not guaranteed to always be there. Now, there are ways that you can actually code this to always make sure that there are some by just making always a special character at the beginning or at the end, but this is truly random. It does not matter where it is. It will just put the characters in a random associated pattern. But if you do want to make sure that you always have numbers or always have specials, you can definitely add some extra intelligence to this and have that curated to make your own randomized passwords. Now, there is also a way that we can actually make dictionary passwords. So using words from a dictionary, combining them together, and then having that go out to the user. If you guys would like to see that random password generator, please let me know in the comment section. We can definitely get that for you guys. But this is the get random password. If you guys would like to see this on the GitHub, I can definitely post it up there, but this is a pretty good practice for you guys for practicing with get random, creating a function. And it's pretty easy to troubleshoot or debug. But if you guys have any questions or comments or problems, please let me know in the comment section down below. If you guys want to see something specific, please also let me know. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Also, don't forget to hit that notification bell to be notified when that next video comes out. And I will see you guys on the next video.